Hello there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. James here as ever for today's very important video, especially if you've got your upcoming ACCA, the Advanced Financial Management paper. Well, I presume that's why you've clicked on this video, because today I'm going to take you through where to find on ACCA's website for free the actual computer-based examination practice questions, the past paper questions, and also for my loyal subscribers out there, I'm going to take you through some exam techniques that I'd be implementing if I had to sit the AFM exam tomorrow, next week, next month, whatever it may be. My name is James. I'm an ACCA qualified member from the UK, and on my channel I help out ACCA students around the world pass their exams. So if you are new here, feel free to subscribe at the bottom, because every single video is dedicated to my loyal subscribers, and today is no different. So on 3 and 2 and 1, Janice, I got your message, and of course, as ever, I reply to every single comment down there. But as you can see, Janice put, "Thank you for these tips, James. I'm so glad I found your channel, Janice, you superstar. Thank you very much. Feel free to share the videos with other ACCA students to help them out. They're all free." Writing the actual Advanced Financial Management exam this December, really want to pass in one go. Do you have any tips? Well, Janice, if you watch this video from start to finish and actually go and take action and use the resources, you are going to be fine. But also as well, as you can see, I'm going to do it up here on the edit because I'm getting better at this. Madney, I got your message on Instagram as well, my friend, and this video is also dedicated to you. I really hope the tips help, the free resources. This is what I'd be using if I was in your situation. What I've also done for you as well, I've put the actual recommended texts and other sort of study tools as well in the description of this video, along with the free link that if you go down there, click it, it will take you directly onto ACCA's website, and then you'll have access and we can walk and talk and follow the video through, all to benefit you. If you are new visiting my channel as well, I'm sure you're thinking now, wow, this is so great, we've not even got onto the content yet. Feel free to subscribe, the button will be at the bottom. As ever, like Janice, feel free to leave me a comment, I answer absolutely all of them. And as well, please feel free to give it a massive thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you've enjoyed this video. That's the main point of it. So without any further ado, let's head on to the main screen. I'm going to walk and talk you through, you get comfy, pen and paper at the ready, and let's get started on it. 3, 2, 1. Okay then, so if you click the actual link in the description, as I said previously, it's going to take you directly onto ACCA's website that you can see on my screen here. I'm on the side, all the important information is over there, so I'm just going to walk and talk you through the areas that I'd be utilising if I had to sit the Advanced Financial Management exam myself. Now, first of all, you've got to see there on the side, or I'll put it up at the top there, the Ethics and Professional Skills module. So if you haven't done that already, make sure you've done it. There will be some ethics involved in this module, so make sure you get that done. It's going to increase your chances, plus you're going to have to do it to qualify anyway. So use it now to your advantage. Before we actually go into where the actual computer-based examination questions are, there are lots of other various resources on here, and for other modules I've got into these in a bit more depth. So if you would like me to do a video on going through some of the free resources, as I said, leave it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to. But just scrolling down to the bottom, for anyone who is new to this module, maybe this is the first thing they're looking at, these are the pass rates, and give or take it floats around the sort of 35% mark, I would say. But I mean, December 42 of a bumper month on that one, but it's a really, really tough exam. But by going through the computer-based examination questions I'm going to show you in a moment, and the past paper questions with the exam technique I'm going to show you through now, this is definitely going to help. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. So the first place to go to, you've got to get to the computer-based practice question platform here. And as you can see on my screen, we've got the CBE question practice. Make sure you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and this is your first free resource you should be doing. What I would recommend for some really good study advice here is actually write down the specimen exam, practice exam 1 to 3, and then when you go through, check them off, do them to time, and you'll build so much more momentum, especially when you go to review the answers. Because if you write it down, see yourself checking them off, you are going to get more out of it. And they're free on here as well. So the one you need to click on is this one here, because in the external examiner's report, people fail the advanced financial management exam because they don't have enough computer-based practice. So if you go onto the specimen exam on here and it's not going to allow me to get in, or you'll have to log in with your student ID, just simply pop it in on there, username and password, and you can go use the platform on there. So that's the first thing. Write it down on your to-do list going away after this video, that you make sure you look at the computer-based examination areas along with these practice exams. The actual question practice, as I said, is absolutely paramount to passing this exam, and also doing them to time. Make sure you do them to time, because lots of people run out of time in this exam, and if you're only doing, say, 80 marks rather than 100, you're really limiting your scope on there. The next area, as I said, that we have to highlight on here, because past papers are so critical to passing any ACCA exam, and even more so on the advanced financial management on here. So this is it on the past exam library. And what I used to do as a student was actually print out or get a screenshot of these on here and just start to mark them off one by one. So a really good exam technique there is to actually start with the most recent paper, do it to time, then review your answers back onto there and note down any areas that you didn't pick up on any of those marks in detail. So as you can see on here, you've got everything from 2020. I'm recording this video in 2021, going back. So if I was in your position, pretty common sense on there to start with 2020 and just simply work it back. The staggering thing here is that some students use sort of very few past papers, where I'd highly recommend that if I was in your shoes having to do the actual advanced financial management exam, I'd be trying to do as many of these as possible, obviously pending time frame when you're actually watching this video. But now I sit here, you say, well, okay then, let's start to have a look at one of these. And would I let you down on here? So I'm just going to walk and talk through the 2020 paper, and obviously I'm fully prepared on this, because this isn't one I prepared earlier, but it's completely blank, again, if I was in your shoes. And I'm just going to run you through now some areas that you've got to be picking up on, especially in the requirement for advanced financial management. Because if you look at the first question on here, I mean, there is a lot of information on there, question one, that you've got to go through, understand what the requirement is asking for, and then take nuggets of information in there and apply it. So the key thing on here is, first of all, go straight to the requirement, always in an AFM exam. And the reason for this is you need to pick up on the keywords. The external examiner loves to use keywords that then you should use in your answer. So let me just walk and talk you through one on here. Again, I'm just going to go through it as if I was in your position. So just look at part A. So discuss the feasibility and effectiveness of the defence strategies of selling off individual garden centres and enhancing directors' remuneration. So I've not looked at the requirements even before this video or anything like that, but if I had to do this question straight away, I'm putting in my answer feasibility on there, obviously getting in the F as well, that would be very good, James, but you know. And also effectiveness, there we go, got the E on that one, of the defence strategies of selling individual garden centres and enhancing directors' remunerations. So straight away, I'm going through back up to the requirement now and thinking to myself, well, where am I going? Whenever I see anything to do with garden centres, have a little mental note or jot it down. And then secondly, anything to do with directors' remunerations. And then maybe start to split up your actual answer, because 7 marks, three for garden centres, 3 for enhancing directors' remunerations, and then 1 on the side if you go into a bit more detail of particular points. And then when you're mentioning a point about garden centres, relate it back to, and again, quote their actual words on here, relate it back to, is this feasible? Is this effective? And exactly the same for directors' remunerations. If you do this with more requirements as you go through, that is definitely going to help you out. Because I've also got the answers up here, and again, these are available for you for free on there. Look at this, straight away on part A, lo and behold, garden centres highlighted and enhanced directors' remunerations. So I'm picking up on those keywords on there, or the key topic areas, should I say, and that is how I design my answer around it. Also relating it into feasibility and effectiveness. So that's question 1 on there. There are loads more on here, but let's keep on going through because we've got question 2 on here. We've got sales volume, contribution. Again, look at all that information on there. Straight to the requirement. Let's have a gander down. Now, we've got a 25 marker, so not as much as before. But I mean, let's just have a look at part 1 on here. Okay, or part A, should I say. So, evaluate the suitability of the investment proposal in Canvia, including the impact of the country risk premium on the net present value of the project. So straight away I'm thinking there, net present value. Got to be referring to some calculations in this straight away before I go through it. And then at the start of it, sorry for the motor vehicle interrupting the video, but we carry on regardless. There we go, settle down now. Evaluate the suitability of the investment proposal in Canvia. So I'd be thinking in my narrative question, and this is an area where people will fail the advanced financial management exam because you are always asked to calculate and explain what you're doing. 15 marks on here, we'll see the breakdown, we'll have a little look through the answers, but relating all of your answers on here for the NPV, so you've got to go through an actual net present value, so you've got to be using the discount tables, which again are provided for you in the exam, and then saying, is it a suitable investment proposal in Canvia, including the impact. So you've got to talk about the impact on there of the country risk premium. Okay, so you've got to talk about these areas. So I bet you if we have a look through the answers on here now, I'm going to see an NPV calculation. Let's head down to number 2. Straight away. There you go. Straight away on there, NPV calculation, going through all those figures as you can see from the requirement, and then as we go through, commenting at the bottom, stating about the decision, referring to the risk premium, as you can see on there, which again, this is where you just pick up on those last few marks as a result and saying, yes, give me the marks for it. Also, I just want to highlight for you whilst we're on here, again, lots of ideas come into my mind. I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight if I didn't tell you. But the external examiner constantly refers to students not showing sufficient workings. Look at the workings on here. You've got it broken down, working capital, exchange rates, component contribution. Too many students just simply write down the numbers up here with no workings. And I'm afraid if you do that, you're not going to get any working marks or any other carried forward or sort of own figure marks on there as well. So you've been warned. Now, let's have a little look back on here. So I'm going to go down to question 3, so you get a bit of exposure for it, but you can see the feel for it again. Lots of information on there. You've got to go through it. Time management is so key. Too many people spend far too long, especially on question 1. And well, let's have a look at more of a wordy question on here, because again, that is what some people actually fail the advanced financial management exam on. Are really good at the calculations, but don't explain it. And these little 8 and 4 marks on here are really, really critical. So comment on the results of your calculations in A. So you've got to be referring to your own figures on there. So that's the first thing I'd be thinking there. Okay, so I'm going to comment on them and discuss the advantages and drawbacks. That little and in the middle there is so key in advanced financial management, but let me finish the rest of it. For Fitzharris Co. of interest rate swaps compared with traded collars on there. So as you can see here, we've got interest rate swaps compared with traded collars, but it's the and on there. I'm going to put my cursor on it because so many students only write about the advantages and or the drawbacks. They only write about one or the other, or they don't go into enough detail. As you can see on here, how we're walking and talking it through, you're straight away thinking and probably saying to me now through the screen, well, James, I've just seen what you said from the previous question. So we've got to be talking about interest rate swaps, okay, traded collars on here, okay, relating it to my results from part A, and then from my analysis of that, saying what were the advantages and what were the drawbacks. And it's going to be split on a 4 mark each basis, 4 for interest, 4 for traded collars, linked in with advantages and disadvantages on there. So let's just have a little go through on here. and we'll just pull it down, comment. Lo and behold, there you go, straight away. So there's your swaps from what we picked up on, advantages and disadvantages. So there's your 4 marks there for swaps. And it will all be linked in there with commenting. There's your commenting on your calculations from the bit before. And then also relating that back to any sort of comparative advantages. But notice on there, collars. That is the key thing on there, saying how it relates back to it. And also, is it actually linking in? Same at the bottom. So it was split 4 marks for advantages, 4 marks for disadvantages. And then the swaps and collars are linked in there on top of that. And I mean, the more question practice you do, this is where the final point on here, which again staggers me. Going into the exam, you must know the formulae like the back of your hand. The external examiner continually points out in the external examiner's report, and again, if you'd like me to do a review video on it, more than happy to, that students do not know the formulae and how to apply them. They're there to help you out. So I'm going to leave it on here for you. I'm just going to scroll down. You've got all of the details on there. You've got everything from the book called Parity Relationship, and I think that'll probably be the last one, apart from the discounted rates on there. So the discounted rates, everything from annuities, perpetuities, MPV, IRR, these are all the key calculations on there, along with the actual formulas. So making sure that you've got and use either the annuity factor table, as you can see on here, or the actual discounted table, as you can see on here. So this one's used mainly for the MPV calculations. And that nicely brings us down to the standard normal distribution table at the bottom, and that is overall for the question paper. But as you can see, going through along with the actual answers on here, have a look, and this is another underused resource because the external examiner always says that students don't answer the requirement in the AFM exam. And this is a really good technique on here to say, well, going through each of the requirements, whether that's question 1, 2, and 3, saying to yourself, and this is why, do the questions first of all, and then review your answers, and be really, really harsh on yourself. That's such a good tip on there, because lots of people go through it, yeah, I'll probably get a half mark there, or 1 mark there, and these all start to accumulate. But if you're really, really harsh, like the actual marker would be, and then these are the sort of key areas to say, well, did I actually cover the spot yield curve or the new bonds on here? So don't overlook the actual sample marking scheme at the back of the paper on here. Nice little overview breakdown, nicely laid out for you, broken down, and then that should help you to pinpoint where you missed out on those 2-3 marks, which again, coming back to the video in itself, can be the difference between a mark in the 40s and pushing you onto the 50s. Well, that's the full review, going through the past paper questions with some tips on top of there. So let's head back to the main screen. 3, 2, 1. Well, Janice, Madney, and all of my new viewers, you've watched all the way to this point. I mean, I'm sure you're thinking there going, oh my word, why have I not used this before? Well, you are more than welcome to subscribe. I'll be doing more AFM videos, or if you've got any requests for them, feel free to leave it in the comments. I'm more than happy to actually help, and I respond to all of them. Make sure you subscribe whilst you're down there so you get all of my other updates. And of course, if you have enjoyed today's video, which if you're still watching at this point, I'm really hoping you have, so give it a massive thumbs up so more ACCA students can see this content. As I said at the start of the video, all the recommended texts and study tips that I would recommend you purchase to pass the AFM exam are down there in the description below to help you out. They're all to the right dates. And as ever, just feel free to share this to a friend if you know they've got the upcoming AFM or the P4 exam. Well, the last thing I can say is best of luck with your upcoming examination. What I've done for you as well is I've left a couple of videos at the end here. Make sure you click on them. They are also definitely going to help. But as always on that bombshell, I'll see you next time. Cheers!